Good morning, Cubs fans. In my car, the sun is just rising here at Sloan Park. You can kind of see it in the background there. And I just want to be a little bit more casual this morning because, well, the sun's not up. It's cold outside, 50 degrees in Arizona. It's going to be really nice today, like 80 degrees. Yesterday was day one for me at spring training. And so I want to kind of tell you guys just experience of Cub spring training, why you should come out here. You should make this a family trip. It's amazing. Plus, I want to talk about some of the things I saw yesterday, including Moises Ballesteros and just the fun of watching a live at bat from him. But I will say this is, I've been to a lot of spring trainings. I used to live 5 minutes from here. I live in California now. But as a passionate Cubs fan who just like, yes, I'm bringing you guys content. Yes, I want to bring the best content for spring training to all of you. But like as a passionate Cubs fan, like spring training is my World Series. Like I'm hanging out, getting ready to film a live at bat, getting ready to film batting practice, getting ready to do all this stuff, and like, you got Owen Casey right over here just chatting amongst the public to other players, and like because spring training hasn't officially started yet, pitchers and catchers actually report tomorrow on Super Bowl Sunday. There's very few people here that are fans. I think a lot of fans think that like, oh, the players don't show up until February 9th. No, the players have actually been here. Like a lot of them have been here all off season, and for that reason, if you live in the area or if you are going to be in the area, you should just stop by somewhere between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., even earlier, and see these players show up, go to the fields. It's all public access. It's like, it's crazy. It's the cheat code to meet your hero, essentially. Like, think about it that way. You literally just have to walk in, and you're one of the only human beings, fans here outside of players, and you can just walk right up to them and say, hey, what's up, man? Love watching you play. Now, as like from a fan to player perspective too, I would just like be very aware that these players are really nice, and they're going to shake your hand and everything, but like don't try to like have a full-on conversation with them. Just like, hey, do you mind if I take a quick photo? Tell them thank you for their time, get an autograph, whatever you want to do, but like they just want to kind of get back to their workouts. But anyway, it's just fun, man. Like if you're a kid, if you have a kid, or if you are a kid, this is the ultimate, like getting autographs and meeting your heroes, meeting the players, interacting with them, and having a story that you can just leave with for your entire life. I just think about like the first interaction, the very first spring training game that I went to. I was 18 years old, 19 maybe, and Jeff Samardzija was throwing his first bullpen as a Cub, and I sat right there. This is when the Cubs were still in Peoria. I sat right there, and I talked to him. I talked to Carlos Marmol. I talked to a few other guys, and Jeff Samardzija threw me the ball after his very first bullpen as a Cub, before he went out to pitch at whatever the name of that stadium was. I can't even remember. Peoria. I just remember it was in Peoria. And I carry that story with me for my entire life. And that was during a game when like they're a little bit more keyed in. Now take that and apply it to the practice fields, and it's like 10x. It's so much fun. And this year it's even more fun for me because like last year at spring training, I don't know how many of you found out about my content through spring training, but a lot of you did. And now this year, there's people that are like, hey, Setup Man. One of the AAA hitting coach yesterday was like, hey, Kyle, Setup Man, I watch your stuff all the time. I'm like, so cool. So like, I don't know, as a passionate Cubs fan who just cares about this team, wants to see this team win, brought my family with me. They're still asleep in bed. But my wife and daughter come with me, and they get to experience this. My daughter's just about to turn 2 years old the day after Valentine's Day. So I just, like, these are memories that I'm going to carry, that I just love bringing you guys the content. I love bringing you guys everything that that you get to take in and feel like you're at spring training. But selfishly, like, these are memories that I'll just have with me forever. And for that reason, I just think you need to get over here. Like, you just need to do it. Just come to spring training. It's the best weather in the world right now. February and March in Arizona. It's perfect. It was 75 to 80 degrees yesterday. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt yesterday in the middle of February, in the beginning of February. It's crazy. All right. So if you have any questions about spring training, do me a favor. Just, I would say comment, but like sometimes I can't keep up with all the comments. So DM me on Instagram or X at SetupManKyle. And a lot of you have actually reached out and been like, hey, what's the best time? Where's the best place? I'm happy to answer those questions because this is just so much fun. It's the World Series for a Cubs fan. Kind of, because we would rather see a real World Series, right? but you understand what I'm saying. All right, yesterday, what I saw Matt Shaw take some grounders at third base. I saw Benjamin Cowles at short. I saw Nico Horner at second. I shared a lot of that stuff. I want to see more of Matt Shaw at third base. I had a really fun interview with him the other day. If you guys missed it, I'll put it in the description. The footwork is different than what I'm used to. I'm not a baseball coach. I played baseball. I did coach in high school, but it was a little bit more for me, like watching the footwork. I was like, I'm gonna be interested to see how that translates into games, because there's a lot of guys that do things unorthodox, just different than what I'm used to. And he even mentions it in the interview, how like Dansby and Nico, like they really come through the ball and they attack the ball, where I felt like he was a little bit more like waiting for the ball, which is fine, but especially it's fine at third base because like that ball's on you right away and there's not like a need, like a middle infielder to come through the ball. You think about Dansby and Nico, they have that like, that time for the ball to come to them, so they're having to take a few steps forward. Third base, it's on you, right? So I'm interested to see more of that. Nico was not throwing yesterday from what I saw. He did throw a little bit the other day. I think I'm still skeptical if he's going to be ready for Game 1 in Tokyo, especially with the season starting early for the Cubs. Maybe he's ready for the actual rest of the league opening day, which is end of March. But Tokyo, I think, is going to be pushing it. I don't know, but I have no idea outside of just seeing him take some ground balls, and I knew that he threw the other day because Richard Biesterfeld, if you're not following him on X at BIEST22, he got a video of Nico throwing, and I was like, oh, okay, well, he's throwing. The question is, are we going to see him batting? Are we going to see him just doing tee work? Are we going to see him just swinging, taking dry swings? Like, that to me is going to be the bigger thing because of the wrist / forearm issue. Wow, that went off. Let's turn that light back on. There we go. Then, let's see. I saw Shota. Tyone was in full gear. I didn't get a shot of it. It was really far away, but yeah, he was in his white pinstripes. I don't know if that was like him just wanting to feel like he was in game situations or if it was a joke amongst players. I don't know, because everyone else was in just like a blue t-shirt. Before I get to Moises Ballesteros, which is really the cool thing that I want to focus on, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I saw yesterday. There was rumors that Kyle Tucker is already here. I didn't see him, but few people said they saw him. The funny thing, too, is like a lot of these guys, they don't have their names and numbers on their back. So a lot of it is like, hey, that guy's tall, slender, dark skin, and has dreads with blonde tips. That's Kevin Alcantara, right? And they're like, no, that's not Kevin What? Like, who? I thought that was Kevin Alcantara. Like, and so you're having like all of these moments from far away. I saw another guy. I was like, oh, that's Justin Steele. And then he got closer. I'm like, that's not Justin Steele. So you like have to have some sort of familiarity with these players. It was really funny. There was a guy that came out who was taller, slender, did not look at all like Shota, aside from just being of the same descent. Why does that keep happening? And this guy next to me, it's like, Shota, can you sign? I was like, yeah, that's not Shota. So a lot of that happening during spring training, which is kind of comical, but at the same time, like, get familiar with the faces before you come out here. Who else did I see? Saw Tommy Hotovy, didn't see Craig Counsell. Got to introduce myself in person to Rachel Folden, which was cool because she's been on the show. Got to introduce myself to Porter Hodge. He's been on the show. So it was just really, saw a lot of that. By February 9th, I think we're going to be seeing pretty much everyone. And like Dansby last year came out late. So late meaning like pass catchers and pitchers. Christopher Ramel was also a guy that came a little bit later. So there's a few guys that like come in after that, but most of them by February 9th, like they're here, which is exciting. And I think that's a good thing to see as Cubs fans is like, okay, cool. Like these guys are in. You can see the sun is now coming up. Beautiful sunrises and sunsets in Arizona, by the way. All right, Moises Ballesteros. First of all, started filming some of his live at-bats. The way these live at-bats work is essentially a minor leaguer or major league pitcher is now throwing. It's not batting practice. It's an actual live at-bat where these guys, they're working as pitchers, but also the hitters are working on their timing and getting up and getting their reps. But I would say it's more for the pitchers. But the fun part of all of this is that there is, Moises Ballesteros is taking these at-bats, and you're like, well, I got to get that on film. So the very first thing I'm seeing, I think it was the second at-bat, he cranks one out. If you missed that video, I'll also link it down below in the description. And it's crazy. Like, when he swings the bat and he pulls the ball, it almost looks like he's getting jammed. But the ball just jumps off the bat. Like, as soon as he hit this ball in the air, I was like, oh, that's going to be kind of a lazy fly ball to right field. And it goes out. And I'm like, that wasn't because of Arizona. Like, these spring training fields are pretty large. And so I'm like, wow, that ball just like, it is always jumping off of his bat. And so I think I got 5 at-bats on camera, maybe 6. He struck out one of them, and then the other ones are they're just missiles. One hop the wall to center field, line drive over the second baseman's head, line drive to left center field, just spraying the ball over all fields, and then again, just turn on that one and hit it out. So he is fun to watch swing the bat, and he's not a big guy, like in terms of height. He's 5'7", 5'8", and I just marvel. Matt Shaw is kind of the same thing. I just marvel at these guys that like, how can you hit the ball that hard and that far? That's a talent. I'm really interested to see Moises Ballesteros put on the gear and get behind the plate, throwing down to the bases, blocking, seeing his agility. I want to get that on film for you guys. So that is a top priority for me to see that, because that's the biggest question mark, right? He says in my interview with him that, hey, that's a challenge that I love to take on, that, people basically are like naysayers, and that fuels me, which is cool. But I feel like that's what most players would say in that situation. Rachel Folden straight up says he can catch. Like, if you missed that interview with Rachel Folden, that was her answer. Her literal answer was just, he can catch. And I was like, oh, anything else to add to that? And she's like, no, he can catch. He's legit. I'm like, okay, I just want to see it. If you look up highlights, you don't see catching highlights. You see hitting highlights from Moises Ballesteros if you're looking on MLB.com, or if you're looking just on the internet. Like, there's not much about his catching. So I want to get that for you guys. And I'm hoping, there was a lot of minor league guys taking hacks and doing the live batting practice that I'm not familiar with, nor do I think you would be familiar with. So for me, I'm looking forward to seeing more of the major league guys, more of the prospects that we're familiar with, so I can get more of that on camera for you. If there's anything while I'm here that you would like to see from me, anything at all, just let me know. Put it in the comments. Again, you can DM me on X or Instagram at SetupManKyle. I want to make sure I'm getting the content that you want while I'm here till February 23rd. So I'm here a while. All right. I'm going to get my butt over to the fields, put my arm on ice. See you later, Setup Nation.